Imagine stepping out your front door one crisp autumn morning in suburban America, the kind of neighborhood where every lawn is mowed to perfection and every mailbox screams conformity, only to find a clipboard-wielding busybody slapping a violation notice on your fence for the crime of existing. That's how it started for Alex Thompson, a quiet guy who just inherited his late aunt's quirky old house in Willow Creek Estates, a place that looked like a postcard from the 1950s but felt like a pressure cooker of petty rules. But oh, the irony. Alex wasn't just any pushover. He was a former real estate appraiser who'd spent years sniffing out loopholes in property deeds, and this HOA nightmare was about to backfire in the most deliciously humiliating way. Alex had always been the type to observe before acting, like a chess player watching his opponent make foolish moves. He pulled up to the house in his beat-up pickup, the engine rumbling like a low growl against the symphony of leaf blowers echoing through Willow Creek. The neighborhood was a sea of identical beige siding, white picket fences that screamed, "Keep up appearances," and American flags fluttering at precisely the same height on every porch. His aunt's place stuck out like a sore thumb, an older craftsman-style home with a wildflower garden instead of a manicured lawn, a red mailbox that dared to be different, and a driveway that hadn't seen fresh asphalt since the Reagan era. Alex unloaded his boxes, feeling the neighbors' eyes on him like laser sights. He waved politely at a couple jogging by, but they just nodded stiffly, their smiles as fake as the HOA's promises of community harmony. That first evening, as the sun dipped behind the cookie-cutter roofs, Alex sat on the porch with a beer, flipping through his aunt's old papers. She'd been a feisty widow, the kind who baked pies for potlucks but fought tooth and nail against anyone trying to clip her wings. Her deed was clear as day. The property predated the HOA by 2 decades, sitting just outside their official boundaries on a quirky parcel that included a narrow strip of the cul-de-sac road. "They'll try to rope you in, kid," her handwritten note read, tucked into the folder. "Don't let em. Boundaries are sacred." Alex chuckled softly, tucking it away. He wasn't looking for trouble. He just wanted peace after years of city hustle. But peace, in Willow Creek, came with strings attached, strings pulled by none other than Karen Hargrove, the HOA president. Karen was the epitome of suburban overlord, mid-50s, impeccably coiffed bob haircut, always in pastel cardigans that matched her pearl necklace, and a voice that dripped honeyed condescension. She ruled the HOA board like a mini-dictator, quoting bylaws as if they were scripture, all while sipping iced tea at meetings where she decided whose holiday lights were too garish or whose dog barked inappropriately. Under her reign, the neighborhood was orderly, which really meant suffocating. Fines for overgrown hedges, mandatory beige trash bins, even rules on how high your curtains could hang, because heaven forbid someone see your mismatched socks through the window. Karen's husband, Bob, was her enforcer, a retired accountant who patrolled in his golf cart, binoculars in hand, logging infractions like a wannabe cop. The trouble brewed slowly, like a pot left on low heat. A few days after Alex moved in, a crisp envelope appeared in his mailbox, gold embossed with the Willow Creek HOA seal. "Welcome to our community. Your introductory dues of $1,500 are now due. Together, we maintain excellence." Alex raised an eyebrow, scanning the fine print. He wasn't listed in their charter. His lot was exempt. So he penned a polite reply, "Appreciate the warm welcome, but per county records, my property isn't under HOA jurisdiction. Best regards." He dropped it in the outgoing mail, figuring that was that. Oh, how naive. 2 mornings later, Karen showed up unannounced, clipboard clutched like a shield, her sensible flats clicking on his cracked driveway. Mr. Thompson, Karen Hargrove, HOA President. I received your note. Her smile was all teeth, no warmth, eyes scanning his wildflowers like they were weeds plotting a rebellion. There's been a little mix-up. All properties in Willow Creek contribute to our shared standards. Your aunt paid her dues faithfully. Alex leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, keeping his tone even. Actually, she didn't. Check the records. She fought you on that years ago and won. My deed confirms it. Karen's laugh tinkled like shattering glass, forced and sharp. Oh, honey, deeds can be so outdated. We maintain the roads, the lights, the community vibe. It's only fair you chip in. Think of the children without dues. How will we fund the annual Easter egg hunt? She flipped her clipboard, jotting something down. And speaking of standards, that red mailbox, it's non-compliant. Beige only, per section 7.2. Alex felt a flicker of annoyance but kept his cool, observing her like a specimen under glass. Appreciate the concern, but no thanks. Have a good day. He closed the door softly, hearing her huff as she marched off. Inside, he started a file on his laptop. HOA nonsense. First entry. The letter. The visit. Timestamped. He wasn't mad yet, just watchful. The whispers started soon after. Alex overheard them at the local coffee shop, where neighbors clustered like conspirators. New guy thinks he's above the rules, one woman murmured. Karen says he's dodging dues, probably a freeloader. Alex sipped his black coffee, pretending not to hear, but he noted the faces. Back home, the newsletters began arriving, glossy pamphlets preaching unity through uniformity, with veiled threats like non-compliance erodes our values. One even featured a photo of a model home that looked suspiciously like Karen's, complete with a caption. This is what harmony looks like. Then came the inspection. Bob rolled up in his golf cart one afternoon, camera phone out, snapping pics of Alex's fence, which was a sturdy wooden thing instead of the approved vinyl. Just routine, pal, Bob grunted, his paunch straining against his polo shirt. Gotta ensure safety. Safety from what? Splinters, Alex quipped from his porch. But Bob ignored him, driving off with a smug wave. That night, Alex installed a discreet camera on his eaves, capturing Bob's return the next day to slap a violation notice on the gate. $200 fine for unaesthetic boundary structure. Alex didn't pay. Instead, he replied via email, as previously stated, not under HOA. Cease contact. Karen's response was swift. Non-payment will result in liens and community action. We're all in this together, Mr. Thompson. The irony burned. Together meant her way or the highway. As weeks turned to months, the pressure mounted like a slow-building storm. Anonymous complaints flooded the county office. Alex's lawn was unkempt. It had daisies. His truck, too commercial-looking. It had mud from a weekend hike. Fines piled up, each one a paper cut to his patience. Neighbors stopped waving. Kids were yanked away from his yard like he was a monster. One evening, as Alex grilled burgers, a group of them gathered across the street, whispering and pointing. He's bringing down property values, one said loudly enough to carry. Alex flipped a patty, smiling inwardly. Let them talk, he was building his case. The phone calls came next, late at night. Pay up or pack up, a muffled voice growled. Alex recorded them all, adding to his growing dossier. He could have lashed out, posted online, but no. Patience was his weapon. He knew from his appraiser days that HOAs like this thrived on intimidation, not facts. Karen, fearing her iron grip slipping, amped up the absurdity. She organized a neighborhood watch meeting, where she preached about rogue elements threatening our sanctity. Bob handed out flyers, support standards, sign the petition against non-compliant properties. Alex watched from his window as they canvassed door to door. Mr. Patel next door signed reluctantly, muttering, "Don't want trouble with Karen. She fines for everything." Alex didn't blame them. Fear was her currency. But inside, he seethed with that quiet rage that turns to strategy. Digging deeper into his aunt's files, he found gold. Old surveys showing the cul-de-sac's end strip was part of her original parcel, never ceded to the HOA. They'd been maintaining it for years without paying taxes, assuming squatters' rights. A quick county visit confirmed it. The land was delinquent, ripe for auction if unpaid. Interesting, Alex murmured to himself, scanning the docs. His aunt's journal entry leaped out. Karen and her cronies think they own the world. But paper doesn't lie, neither should we. That night, under the hum of his desk lamp, Alex formed JM Holdings LLC anonymously and bid on the strip at the tax auction. No fanfare, just a quiet wire transfer. Ownership transferred seamlessly. Now, the road they patrolled? His. But he kept it secret, letting the tension simmer. Karen, sensing resistance, escalated to farce. She bolted a sign into the asphalt. HOA Road, members only. Violators towed, right on his property. Alex captured it on camera, chuckling darkly. Bold move, he whispered. The community vibe turned toxic. Graffiti appeared on his fence, freeloader, and his trash bins were tipped over weekly. Bob caught on cam. Of course. One humid afternoon, Karen marched up again, flanked by Bob and a couple of bored lackeys. Mr. Thompson, this has gone far enough. Your refusal is disrupting harmony. We're filing for a lien today. Her voice was pious, like a preacher scolding a sinner. Alex stepped out, folder in hand, voice calm as a still pond. Harmony? You mean the kind where you harass folks over mailbox colors while pocketing dues for roads you don't own? Karen's eyes narrowed, her cardigan suddenly looking comically out of place in the heat. We maintain this community. Without us, it'd be chaos. Wildflowers everywhere. Mismatched everything. Think of the resale values. Resale? Funny you mention that, Alex said, pulling out a printout. Your maintenance skipped taxes for 8 years on this strip. County sold it last week. Bob snorted. Impossible. We have rights. Rights don't pay bills, Alex replied mildly. Check the records. Karen waved it off. This is nonsense. Bob, call the sheriff. He's trespassing on HOA property right now. As Bob dialed, Alex leaned in, whispering just loud enough. Careful who you call the cops on. Might bite back. The sirens wailed in the distance, and neighbors peeked from blinds, the air thick with anticipation. The deputies arrived, 2 burly guys stepping out with notepads ready, eyeing the standoff. Karen pounced first, pointing dramatically. Officers, this man is defiant. He's ignored violations, refused dues, and now he's claiming our road. arrest him for trespassing and vandalism. He probably put up that ridiculous countersign. The lead deputy, Ramirez, glanced at Alex. "Sir, your side." Alex handed over the folder without a word. Ramirez scanned the deed, eyebrows shooting up. "Ma'am, this shows the road strip belongs to JM Holdings." Fresh stamp. Karen's face twisted, a mix of shock and denial that was almost cartoonish. "That's absurd. We've paved it, lit it. It's ours by default." "Default doesn't trump deeds," Ramirez said dryly. "And records show no tax payments from HOA. You're standing on private property." The crowd that had gathered, neighbors lured by the lights, murmured. One laughed outright. Karen stammered, "But community standards." Alex couldn't resist a soft jab. "Standards like fining people for daisy gardens while embezzling road funds? Yeah. Stellar." Bob flushed red. "You can't prove that." "Actually," Alex said, pulling another sheet. "Audit trail does. Dues collected for road upkeep. $50K vanished into admin fees. County fraud divisions interested." Gasps rippled. A neighbor yelled, "Wait, our money went where?" Another, "Karen, you said it was for potholes." Karen clutched her pearls, voice rising to a shrill pitch. "This is slander. We're protectors of order." "Order," Alex echoed, voice dripping sarcasm. "Like when Bob tore down my sign? Got it on video. Trespassing. Destruction of property." The deputies exchanged looks. "Ma'am. Sir. Step off the asphalt," Ramirez told Karen and Bob. She laughed hysterically. "My asphalt? Ridiculous." "No," Ramirez said, holding up the deed. "His. You're trespassing." Her jaw dropped, color draining like a popped balloon. The neighbors erupted, some cheering, others demanding refunds. Karen's empire crumbled in real time, her huffy protests sounding more absurd by the second. But the Easter egg hunt, Alex watched, satisfaction blooming like those non-compliant wildflowers. The cops escorted Karen away for questioning, Bob trailing like a deflated sidekick. As the cruisers left, a neighbor approached Alex. "We should have seen it sooner. She had us all scared." "No sweat," Alex said. "Fear makes good people fold. But facts, they unfold everything." In the aftermath, the HOA audit hit like a bombshell. $62,000 in misappropriated funds, gone on Karen's board retreats and Bob's golf cart upgrades. Karen faced fraud charges, her presidency revoked, her house hit with liens from furious members. Bob lost his enforcer gig, slinking away in shame. The neighborhood exhaled, rules relaxed, wildflowers popping up here and there. Alex used the settlement to repave his road properly, adding solar lights and a bench under an oak. Inscribed, "Boundaries hold truth." He opened access freely. No gates, just courtesy. Willow Creek transformed, not perfect, but real. No more clipboard tyrants, just folks living without the noose of nonsense. As the sun set on that reclaimed strip, Alex sat on his porch, beer in hand, watching kids bike freely. Karen's fall was poetic justice, a reminder that power built on bluster crumbles under scrutiny. But here's the question. In a world of overreaching rules, is the real villain the HOA bully, or the silent neighbors who let it happen? True or false, share below and let's debate who truly owns the blame.